when I go to the pantry and say there's nothing to eat, there really is something to eat. I just don't want it, whereas they don't have that luxury.
When their kids get to be 12 years old, they have to decide who they feed that day. The parents do. And a kid gets to be 12, he's pretty much on his own. And just, that was so striking to me, that you would actually have to pick who to feed.
Can you imagine being so hungry that you're going to eat dirt that you know is bad for you? It's just unfathomable in America that you would pay for something that you know is going to potentially harm your body, and that you're just in such desperate condition that you're willing to do that because you have no other choice. Just to fill that hole in your stomach and just to get you through until you might have the opportunity to find some food someplace else.
Well before recent disasters got the world's attention, the people of Haiti, especially the children, were suffering. Trinity Hope founder John Hall describes what he saw during a mission trip there 12 years ago.
And we went to visit this school and we saw kids whose stairs were vacant. It was a Christian school, and they were asked to say their Bible verses, but they did it by rote. They sang, but it was without any joy. Some of them were sleeping. They were gaunt and emaciated. And that night we asked the mission developer what was wrong. And he said, well, in Haiti, we don't even have the concept of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In Haiti, we eat when there's food. And he said, those children get up in the mornings, have no breakfast. They come to school, we don't have the money to feed them, and they know they're going home that night to a house that probably has no food in it. He said, those children have no hope. And so we decided, our mission team, that we would raise the money when we got back home and feed that school.
The program has grown from just one school with 40 children to over 80 schools and nearly 14,000 children. Simply providing food began an amazing transformation.
They just have this glimmer in their eyes of hope. That's the best word. Because prior to that, they didn't really have anything to look forward to. They didn't really have anything that would sustain them to say, okay, I think it's going to be better.
And once we start feeding them that one meal, these kids' metabolism is shut down so low to try to keep from starving that one meal, it'll change their body mass index, it'll change the complexion of their skin, they'll get muscle tone, they'll start gaining weight, they'll be more alert, they'll have longer attention spans. They just change from little zombies into what we know as children with bright smiles and eager eyes and wanting to learn, and it's just a total transformation in a child.
A survey revealed just how important that one meal is.
So we had 200 kids that we had interviewed. And so the question we asked them was, how many times a week do you get to get food outside of school? Now, in America, it's like, how many times a day do your kids eat? And it's, 5, 6, whatever. And now in their mind too, when they say get food, that means they got a banana or a mango. So it's not a meal, it's just, did they get anything? Of those 200 kids, the result of that survey was an average of 3. So 3 times a week, they get food. So when school's out, no food. Weekends, no food. Earthquake, no food.
To see these children know that they have a meal when they come to school, and to have that hope and expectation is awesome. And we have schools that we've been feeding for the entire 10, 11 years. And yet when those children come to school in the morning, it's so important to them that sometimes they go by the kitchen just to see if the fire is going under the kettles, just to see if, yes, today we're going to have food again. There's never been a day since we started that they hadn't had food, but their life is so uncertain that they come by and check. And then for the parents too, to know that this child is going to be fed today. I don't have to be concerned whether or not they're going to die. They're getting nutrition. And the family's food can extend further because I have one child that I know is okay. And so it just changes all their lives.
Growing kids, that's something that doesn't happen if you're malnourished. Your body will automatically adjust to the amount of food that you have. Your stature will be less. You just won't grow quite the same way. But to see these kids get taller and chubbier, and to see baby fat on a Haitian kid is one of those things that American kids probably don't like too much about themselves, but it's a beautiful thing to see in a Haitian kid.
And we were at one school in Port-au-Prince, and Pastor Thomas is the district president there, and he was the translator with us at that point. And there was this young boy, probably about 10 years old, raised his hand. So I brought him up to the front of the room. I said, "Tell me your question." He then spoke directly to me in Creole, and Pastor Thomas translated that. His comment was praise to God for what we were doing and thankfulness for us going there in that country. And then he hugged me, and it was touching.
Children in Haiti are considered to be a blessing, but they don't necessarily receive a lot of attention. And when they are being fed a meal each day, they understand that they as individuals are important to someone, and that someone cares enough about them through the love of Christ to feed them.
The food is the enabler. The food is what allows them to be able to hear the message, to absorb the message, to not fall asleep on their desk while their teacher is teaching them certainly the gospel, but also teaching them math and teaching them French and teaching them history. The food is what's allowing them to take all of that in. But the real food that they're getting is the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's where the real difference will be made.
Part of the thing about Trinity Hope is the stewardship around the feeding program. It's very disciplined. The money is being spent locally. It's all being extremely well accounted for. If you make a contribution, like if we make a contribution and we say we want this to feed this school or for food, it all goes there. Every quarter is another meal for another kid.
There's thousands that we're not touching. And the only reason we're not touching them is because we don't have the funding to do that in a model of good stewardship today. So we need to be able to raise some more money so we can go down there and make a bigger difference for the children and the leadership and the future of Haiti.
Our goal is that we will be feeding every child in every Christian school a hot meal a day. That's Trinity Hope's goal. Now that's a long time away, but with God's help, one school at a time, one bowl of beans and rice at a time, we'll do just as we have over the past 11 years. God will continue to bless us, we'll continue to grow, and we'll continue to serve more children.
I cannot express enough how much it will have a positive impact on your life, on their lives. I mean, it's an opportunity that comes straight from the Lord, and those types of things, in my experience, have never been something that wasn't worth doing.